I did it. I went through an entire day of discomfort. I just got back from the gym, and it's 10 to 9 p.m. I got there at 5 p.m. and it's been a fucking day. I'm freeballing this shit. I had something planned, and I will speak about it, but I woke up and I just had straight diarrhea. So I stayed home from school, and then I fell asleep. Woke up again at 11 a.m. And you know when you wake up late, you're like, at this point, I've wasted like half my fucking day. What's the point? But I had a physics assignment, and then it turns out I had two, and my brain was not working, and it took me, I think, 3 hours to do 30 questions. So I did 3 hours of physics work, and I wanted to kill myself. But I said, you know what? If I stayed home from school, this is my discomfort, right? And then I finished the physics. Thankfully, I go to my PC. I sit down. I want to chill and watch some YouTube. My mom comes in my room and tells me, Liam, you have 2 hours of maths, and we're leaving in 20 minutes. So I was about to burst into tears because I've actually had enough. But I packed my shit and went to maths, and I did maths for 2 hours, and I was fucking tired. I was ready to go to sleep. But I said fuck it. I said I would swim at every moment I could, and I said I would go to gym at every moment I could. And that's what I did. So at 5 o'clock, I went to the gym, and I did a back day. It was the worst back day of my life. I started doing lat pull downs, and I felt it in my triceps. I had zero back pump. My back after the whole back workout, and I'd gone to failure and done drop sets. My back looked like it had no pump. Worst pump of my life. I went there already in a shitty mood, and that just it didn't help. So I finished my back day, and I got changed to go into the pool, and the pool was full. So I said, okay, I'll wait for it to not be full. And lo and behold, fucking, I wait for 20 minutes. It's still full. So I said, okay, it's a sign that I'm just not gonna swim. So then I get dressed again, and when I'm walking out the change room, I said, no, it really depends on the way I look at it. It's a sign that I shouldn't be swimming today, and I should just chill, take a rest, take it easy, or it's a challenge that I wait for the discomfort. I don't take the easy way out. So I didn't. Still in my clothes, I went and started stretching because a guy, Adrian, I'll show you the comment, I'll put a picture up, said I should start stretching, and I said I swore I would start stretching, so I started stretching. And I looked down into the pool, 15 minutes into stretching, there's two spots open. So I run to the change room, I get dressed again, I run down to the pool, there's only one, I take that one. And my swimming coach told me that I should really focus on kicking because where I swim, it's a really small pool. It's a 12.5 meter pool compared to the standard 25 meters. So my legs don't get enough workout. It's mainly my arms. So I get my kickboard and I do 6 lengths. So six times 25. That's, oh my god. Am I tweaking? 6 times 20, 75 meters, right? No, it isn't. It's 150 meters. I'm so sorry for that maths. I'm tired. 150 meters, right? And I'm done. I'm so tired. And I said, okay, let me do one more set of four, and I did four. I said, no, I can do two more, so I did two more. And I said, no, I can go to 10, so I went to 10, and then 10 turned into 12, turned into 14, turned into 16, turned into 20. I did 20 lengths non-stop at a medium to sprint pace of kicking, and my legs have never felt so dead. But I I cried in my goggles. There was tears in my goggles because I didn't want to continue, but I didn't want to stop because I knew if I stopped, I hadn't given 100%. And that fucking frustration of missing school, that 5 hours of maths and science, that shitty back day, it just conglomerated into that 500 meters of just straight kicking at a sprint pace. And I got out, and I felt I felt good. I felt fucking good. And walking up those stairs was one of the worst experiences of my life. I had to grip on. I looked like a grandpa, or Stephen Hawking's, like, early in his life, or neuromotor disease. You can imagine him, like, he couldn't walk properly. That was literally me before he got into a wheelchair. Um, but then I got up and I changed back into my clothes and I was ready to leave. And I said, no, I haven't done my core. So I said, fuck it. I'm this far into my day. It's 8 p.m. So I did core, and then I stretched more, and I didn't feel like stretching more. And I'll tell you this, I'm very close to doing a split, so that's cool. But when I was, and this is what I wanted to touch base on, when I was doing the physics, right, that assignment should have taken me an hour, tops. It should have taken, like, the two of them together should have taken me an hour, right? And I felt incredibly overwhelmed because my teacher said this is the easiest subject, the easiest topic, and yet here I was busting my balls over a question for 10 minutes. And I'd draw diagrams, I'd read over it, and I'd say, what the fuck am I doing wrong? And then I look back into the question, and it was literally like I only had to do a third of what I did, and it was one of those feelings where I'm literally fucking myself over. And I started tunnel visioning on this feeling, and I got overwhelmed, and I felt stupid. I was putting myself down, and there was like an outside voice, fucking mosquito. There was like an outside voice that said, "Just take a step back, and realize that I'm currently putting in probably more effort than anyone else in my class. No one else put 3 hours of physics on a Friday afternoon. No one does that shit." And yeah, and that really brought me back to reality. So and that's another thought that crossed my mind. I wrote this note on my phone. I have a note here that there's a balance between being completely overwhelmed and being completely unstressed, right? Because stress is probably one of the greatest forces of motivation, right? You wouldn't do your homework unless you were stressed, right? If you weren't stressed of underperforming in maths, you wouldn't try in maths. You wouldn't try in anything. Otherwise, what would be your reasoning? Oh, it would be cool to do well in maths, right? Oh, it's something cool, right? You need to hold yourself to a standard, and that's your motivation. Is what I talked about yesterday is your oscillations. You can't go below. That's what stresses you out. Is when you're heading towards that trough, like, you start getting fucking stressed, and you pick your shit back up and you head to the peak again. So, while stress is the greatest motivation, I would say being overwhelmed is crippling to your success. Because what happens when you're overwhelmed is you focus on that feeling of being overwhelmed, and it's just a rabbit hole. It starts with you being overwhelmed about your work, then that spreads, then it becomes from a problem of a subject to an identity crisis, right? If I can't do this, then who am I? Because 14 years of my life, 15 years of my life, 30 years of my life, I've been able to do it. I believed I've been able to do it, yet here I am and I can't fucking do it. So have I been lying to myself? And you start focusing on that feeling, and it just takes you down, because then you stop and you find an escape. You stop doing the physics, and you run away and you go play video games, because you don't want to experience that type of failure again. You don't want to experience that type of feeling. You think that feeling is the worst feeling you will ever feel, and it's terrible for you, but it's not, because it shows you where your weakness is. If you get overwhelmed, you know where your limit is. It's all about how you view it. It's all about how I view it. When I looked at that pool and it was full, I said, oh, it's a sign to go home. Or it's a sign to wait, do something else in the meantime, then go back to it. Stop making excuses. I didn't make an excuse. I didn't make a single excuse today. And I'm so fucking proud of myself. And I can sit here and talk about how great I am today because I did more than 90% of the human race. I I felt depressed today. I at 3 p.m. doing the physics, I wanted to cry, but I didn't cry. For the first time in a year and a half, I cried in that pool, and it was from effort. It was from pure effort. And when you're feeling overwhelmed, you need to realize that everyone has moments of being overwhelmed. And no one, if someone has never been overwhelmed in their life, they have never been in a challenging situation. And that is fucking sad. That is sad. Because you, by nature, are fallible. You know, you're prone to failing. That is human nature. You are not perfect. But that's all it is you need to take a step back and take a broader view on that situation, and you just need to push through it. You need to push through it. I am a prime example of just pushing through it today. Yeah. So that was pretty much it. That's all I have. But if I can just waffle a little bit more. When you are feeling overwhelmed, you need to realize that you are being irrational, because humans by nature are also irrational, right? Irrationality is needed, right? Because that leads to creativity. If everything was completely rational, life would be boring. But in those moments of irrationality, you need to try implement some rationality. You need to realize that while you don't understand this topic now, you don't understand this subject now, that is 3 hours of your life, right? Because I took a step back from learning. We were learning about momentum and impulse. I was doing an assignment on it, and I realized it's a Friday afternoon. I have the whole weekend. I don't have another physics test until May, April. That's 2 months. I have 2 months to just do a little bit of impulse and momentum every day and make sure I can get 100% for that section. Realize that today is not your only day. You have a chance to retry and do better. And that is why people fail. They fail and they quit because they think that when they fail, that is their last chance. It it's it sounds obvious that when you fail, it's not your last chance. But when I was trying to do NoFap, right, I failed, and I was like, oh, okay, well, it'll take me so fucking long to get back to 29 days. And, I'm not feeling depressed after I did it, so I don't actually see the problem. You gaslight yourself into thinking it's okay. And you need to get out of that habit. You need to get out of the habit of making excuses, right? When I went to one preseason game for rugby, it was raining. It was it was like 6 in the morning. It was the worst day. I was told it was the worst day of that rugby season, and it was my first day. And I got fucking overwhelmed. I don't watch rugby. I don't play rugby. I don't know what was going on. I was drenched. I got sick, and I was like, no, I'm done. And to this day, I regret that. And so, in 2 months' time, I'm stepping foot again on that rugby field and I'm trying again. And I don't care if I'm the worst fucking player there. I will at least give it my all, and I will learn the game, and I will do something about it. I will I will take success into my own hands. Sorry, that mosquito is really irritating me. Take success into your own hands. There is no one but you that can do it.